I'm going to talk to you about those in just a second, actually. Yes. Okay. I love it. I love it when there's just freedom for kids to grab things too, to go and create whatever they want. Uh, so I want to talk to you about just real quick before I dive into a couple of the answering the questions, because these are really great questions. Thank you so much for asking. I will definitely answer some of my favorite process supplies. Yes, Megan, thanks for saying it. Totally, that's why I love using books to inspire. Always great jumping off point. Yes. Um, I'm sorry. Is it Dilnia? I want to make sure I'm saying your name right. Yes, project-based lessons. So that's actually, so for example, why we offer process, why would you do that? Partly is because like children who are the ages of like 0 to 7 really crave those experiences. That's just kind of how they experience art from that point on. They're developmentally, that's where they are. They're very much into exploring their world, figuring out the physics of their world, and they do that through trial and error, right? Like what happens when I drop a wet pom-pom onto a canvas that's full of paint and then it goes, you know. They're figuring all that out. And so that 0 to 7 age is such a critical time to offer the process art experiences, because that's just how that's how they want to do art. When they hit that, after that age 7, they start to really want to make sense of their world physically and almost like anatomically correct, right? I don't know if you've noticed this, if you guys have kids who are starting to turn into that 8-year-old, 9-year-old, and they suddenly are like, I want to know how to draw a cat, right? Or I want to know how I draw this flower. Like, how do I do it? I want to know the steps. And so you suddenly see this thing where they start to creep over into wanting to do all that product-based art more, because that's just developmentally, that's what they're trying to do, and they're really trying to hone that skill. However, process-based art you can do whenever. It's great for adults too. It's such a freeing way to kind of come up with your own, relinquish your creativity and everything. But what we do at Kid Artlet, which I think is going to answer your question about project-based art, is, again, we've got this spectrum, right? We've got process art over here and craft over here, and Kid Artlet, we're right in the middle. So we're providing in our box and things, and what we're trying to show you through our Instagram account is that we are offering projects that are process oriented, that then you build and put together and that are inspired by a book, so that when you're done, you will most likely have an end product, but you've gone through process experiences to get there, and you've worked on it together to develop the idea of what you're creating together with your child. And so that's part of why, it's part of what we're doing here, and what makes Kid Artlet different from a lot of these other, all these other like different box companies and things that send you a book and like an art project or a craft. Ours is not purely craft, and it's not purely process. We are right in the middle, and that's why we call it open-ended, because we give you these supplies. It's very project-based in that we are being inspired by a book. We're looking at patterns, we're looking at colors, we're looking at themes and main messages and bigger picture ideas, and synthesizing that down for you and giving you all the supplies you need to help work through all of that with your children in an artistic way, so that they are developing artistic skills, and then they're also developing, but really what they're developing is they're developing into, you're raising readers, and you're raising kids who are creative. You're helping them develop their creativity. And that's where that open-ended stuff is really important, because that's where creative development happens the most. You'll see a huge leap with children as they get more of that open-ended creative time. I'm going to read some of your questions here and comments, and then I'm going to jump back into what we're talking about here. So it says, my son is 4 and definitely more hands-on. He'd rather drop that paint-filled sponge instead of crayon. Yes. I see. So that, yeah. First-hand experience. So this morning I taught a group of 4 and 5-year-olds, and then I taught a group of 18-month-olds and 2-year-olds, and it's like night and day. They're not that far apart in age, but it's so true. You got that even in that 3, 4, and 5 age group, it's like they are so interested in that process piece, and they love, and especially the older ones, start to love putting some of that together into something. They're starting to have enough enough in their own personal banks of knowledge that they can then create their own things from it. Whereas, those kids who are really in that 0 to 4 area are still very hands-on. They're tactile. They want to feel it. What the paint feels like. They don't know they don't know that when they pick up the paintbrush it might be hard. They don't know the end might be soft. It's all still very new, and they haven't had like a lot of exposure to it, so they don't remember, right? And they also their short-term memory is it's like non-existent. So you did it with them last week, they don't remember. You do it again, it's like a whole new experience. So we grown-ups are like, haven't you done this before? And that's why, like in Kid Artlet with the box, we provide you multiple sets of the supplies so you can do the project multiple times with your children. And also we provide books that are they're complex. So when you read them, I don't mean they're like hard to understand. I mean, there's depth to them in a way that kids just want to go back to them and back to them again and again. If you're coming on right now, don't worry. You can still access like all of what we've talked about here about process versus product. If you're on our email list, because we're going to download this to YouTube and then you'll be able to watch it. We're going to email it out later in the week. So make sure you're on our email list. Just go to www.kidartlet.com and we'll be able to send it out to you. Yeah. Let me read what we've got here. The combination of a book and process art is beautiful. Well done, ladies. Yay! I'm glad you were here. Thanks for being on here. Okay. I hope, is that making sense? Like why we've pulled this together? A lot of artists pull ideas from literature too. That's just kind of where, it's how we as a society and a species really communicate. And so we share ideas this way. And it's just so wonderful to pull from those books that we're reading with our children, since they're so rich and they are little works of art. There was a quote I read, which was like, a book is like holding somebody's dreams in your hand. And that gives me chills saying it to you, because it really is. It's somebody dreamed that up. Somebody with their creative experience dreamed that into being. And now you get to experience it and hopefully entice your own dreams. And that's actually why our invitation for May is, will you make a dream with us? Megan and I dreamed about how we could really bring more art experiences and reading experiences to families in a way that would be magical, exciting, fun, and engaging, and ones that you'd want to do again and again with your children. And that's how Kid Artlet was born. And so we're really wanting to make sure that we can get this into the hands of as many families as we can. So, and that's why we've created a really fabulous founders program that goes until April 30th. Partly because we want you, as many people as we can, to get this great deal, which is 10% off the lifetime of your subscription. Did you hear that? The lifetime. So you join Kid Artlet and you get that your box, and for however long you keep it, it's 10% off for the lifetime of that box, which is huge. That's part of why we're doing that. We don't know if we're going to offer that deal again. We want to just create a very strong foundation with a community. We think community is the key to helping raise curious and creative kids. And we're so glad you all are on here, because you're a part of the Kid Artlet community. Just because Megan and I have created this box for everyone does not mean we're going anywhere. We're definitely going to still be here sharing with you, all the great things about process art and product art and raising readers and how to do all that, because it's really deep and important to us. Hi everyone, if you are just joining us, I am wrapping up our session on what process versus product is, and but don't worry, if you're on our email list, you can get on there on www.kidartlet.com. Go enter your email address, and that way we will be emailing this video out to everyone so that you can rewatch it again and talk and learn more about what process versus product is. Are there any other questions on here before I head off? Did I get everything? Megan, did I leave anything out? We hope that you'll join us in participating in this box, the Kid Artlet box, because it is a dream. It's a dream come true for Megan and I. It's something that has been really fun. I, as an art educator, has been great to reach the children and families in my local community. And it's just so fun to be, I never expected to be here on Instagram sharing all this, what we do. And it's just really great to be able to share it with everyone and find out that there are so many of you who love doing art with your kids and love reading. It's just fantastic. So I'm glad you guys are here. All right. So go ahead, if you haven't already, let me know if you have any questions. Somebody I know asked me about what my favorite supplies are for process art. And I hate to disappoint you because I don't think there's anything that special. But one of my favorite things, obviously besides the basic crayons and paints and markers and things, is I really love like droppers. I think droppers are just such a great tool, especially, and I think we often think that that's just for preschoolers, but older kids really love using real stuff. And that's always my thing, is like the more real stuff you can give to kids, the more interesting the art experience will be for them. So if you can hand your kids, a little glass jar with real paintbrushes, right? Paintbrushes that professional artists use, you're going to see such a huge, what's the word I want to use? They're going to be so much more involved in what they're doing because it feels real to them. They feel respected. Like, wow, you're going to give me these real tools to use? Well, of course, because you're a real artist. We all are. So that's been my main thing, is letting children use real supplies. So in the Kid Artlet box, we're sending you things that are real. There's stuff that professional artists use. And of course, there's fun stuff that's going to be in there too, that we kids love, like pipe cleaners and pom-poms and stuff like that. But your tools are real. They're real things. Straws, oh yeah, straws are great. I just love straws. You can do so much with those. Cut them up, turn them into beads, loop them around, tie things together. Paper towel rolls are fabulous. Bubble wrap. Anything from your recycle bin is basically golden. You can go over there anytime you're like, gosh, I really need to go to the craft store. No, you don't. Go look in your recycling bin. You'll find something. Tape. I love using tape with kids. It's a very fun thing for them to experience. It's something that younger ones need help with in the beginning, and using scissors potentially to help cut it. But once they do it, they feel really big. They feel very like, I'm using tape. I am so cool. So I think tape is great. Things that I have out for my kids that they can just go and grab. We always have colored pencils in a jar sitting out somewhere. Actually, we always have a set of watercolors. That's what's sitting on my table behind me right now. There's usually a set of watercolors with little squares of watercolor paper with a little jug of water. That's always sitting out for them to play with. And I love things like those little stubby or quick sticks, tempera cakes, sticks, like the paints of sticks. Those are really cool.